coming to you from the mountains and the plains. The only conservative voices brave enough to push back. This is the Conservative Daily Podcast with Joe Altman.
That's what the Second Amendment was designed to do. If you're going to do something to nullify or take away my rights under the Constitution, come get it.
Max McGuire.
When you look at politicians on the left, they need to convince people that they are victims.
A resistance to the resistance. And now your hosts, Joe Altman and Max McGuire.
And welcome back to another edition of the Conservative Daily Podcast. My name is Max McGuire.
And this is Joe Altman.
And today we have a jam-packed show today. We got a lot to talk about in Georgia. A lot's coming out in the last 24 hours about Georgia, so we're going to get to that. But before we do, we have to, real quick, go back to Michigan. We were supposed to have this woman on. She's my favorite witness from the Michigan testimony. We reached out to her, wanted to have her on yesterday. Scheduling didn't work out. We brought her back today for a segment because we really, really loved her testimony. So we're going to start talking about that. So let me introduce to the show Miss Artesia Balmer. Artesia, how's it going?
Yes, how you doing? It's going.
So I noticed you don't have your trademark cowboy hat.
Oh no, it's around. It just kept falling off. Black Voices for Trump.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I saw that the hat kept falling off, and eventually you just kind of held it up, almost like you were riding a bull.
Oh yeah. It's like I'm riding a bull with all this fraud, though.
Yeah, it is. It is, and you were telling us before we went on that we might have a dog barking in the background, but you have a good reason for that. Why is that?
I have two puppies, and they may be barking in the background because they're fired up this fraud as well.
So the puppies are fired up. We're fired up. Artesia is fired up. So I want to start by talking about what you saw, because you mentioned a lot of things in your testimony, both what you saw. Just briefly, I'm not going to limit you to 3 minutes like they did, but talk a little bit about what you saw on Election Day and even what you've seen historically in Michigan.
Well, I can even rewind. The fraud starts with the training with the United Precinct delegates, and we all know that United Precinct Delegate CEO is Governor Gretchen Whitmer's, drumroll, political director. So when they talk about you can't do two things at one time, well, that sounds like a conflict of interest, don't you think?
Yeah. It's almost like what's her name? Ilhan Omar. Her husband is running the marketing for her campaign, and basically she's paying herself. She's paying her own household. Yeah, no, it's definitely a conflict of interest. So you mentioned the training. We saw Detroit Leaks, that video that came out where they were basically teaching people how to get away with kicking poll watchers and challengers out. What did you notice with the training specifically?
Well, that's the training that comes from Gretchen Whitmer's political director. That is her. I can put the face to the voice. It's her. She trained them to cheat, lie, and everything else. And that is why I dropped out of being a United Precinct delegate in their organization. It's fraud.
It is. Joe, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, so I want you to walk through. By the way, I want you to know that most people in the comments right now are saying that you are a patriot and you are a hero. And I'm here to tell you that as someone that did stand up and as two guys with guns that have to walk around protecting me, that my hat's off to you and the courage that you've shown. It's amazing. But I'd like you to talk a little bit more about, for those that don't know you, right, what it is you observed and what brought you to this point. And then maybe talk a little bit about C.A. Johnson.
Oh, yeah, I would love to talk about her because if I'm not mistaken, she was summoning, where's those people from Detroit? I want to hear those witnesses from Detroit.
I heard them.
But I'll tell you this, if I was there, she wouldn't have wanted to hear from me because I would have muted her real well. In fact, she looked like she had her a few drinks. But I don't want to lie about that, so we won't put that on her. But I know them personally. They all lie. they trained the United Precinct delegates to vote Democrat only, and this is supposed to be a non-partisan organization. So all of these hits that Governor Whitmer goes on TV looking fancy while she's telling us to stay at home like we're some animals, they all planned it. It's the plandemic for sure. In fact, when we first went on shutdown, I got in touch with her political director, and I know she's trembling somewhere because I haven't yet said her name, but I like to not say people's names sometimes because I like the conviction to get inside of them and let them confess on their own. But when the shutdown happened, I was really curious about why she wasn't afraid. This is the political director of government. When I asked her, oh God, we're going to be locked down, what's going on? She simply said, it's a pandemonium. We're going to reboot. I'm building things right now. I'm building up events and everything. So basically, Governor Gretchen Whitmer made it convenient for her to complete all of the fraud, to cooperate with Joe Biden because he came to Detroit.
We might have lost her briefly. Hopefully we can get that fixed. It's she's right.
Yeah,
you're here. She's back.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, we lost you briefly. Sorry.
Okay. So
keep
let me
going.
go back to Joe Biden. Okay, so he came to Detroit to Renaissance High School. And back then, I was still friends with the political director of Whitmer. And I gave him a hug, and he sniffed my neck. I felt him sniff me. So that was why I made my decision right then and there. No, you're not the president that I'm going to pick. And mind you, I ran for Congress. I ran under the Republican ticket first, and they booted me off the ballot. They came up with some lame excuse that, you have the wrong nominating petitions. But they gave me the nominating petitions at the Department of Elections. So what a convenience.
So before we get too far, that's news we didn't know. You're a sniff victim.
You need to know
Joe Biden sniffed you.
Yeah, he sniffed me, and so that's what made I was really entertaining, possibly voting for him because I had already met Governor Whitmer. She seemed friendly. I know the Mayor Duggan, he's okay. But when I put it all together after that sniff, I'm like, no way, Jose. And so that freaked me out. And I saw all of them there. It was Kamala Harris was there, Cory Booker was there, and they looked. Besides Cory Booker, Kamala looked like she had her a few more drinks than what she should have had before she went going on that stage. So
I'm still stuck on the sniffing part. I'm back there. I'm back there on the sniffing part.
He sniffed me. And guess what? Hold on, you got to hear this one though. He sniffed the political director's hair too, and guess what? She inboxed me. I have it in my phone, inbox from her.
Oh, you got to send it to her.
I sent her a text. Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to. So they're probably going to call me a snitch right now, but they know one thing about me. This snitch right here will not get a ditch or a stitch because I can talk when I want to. This is my mouth. Yeah. But let me tell you about this inbox. I was concerned about him sniffing people's hair. I thought I was the only one, and I let it go. But then I started seeing all this on the internet, and I inboxed her, and I said, I'm concerned about you because I see pictures of you with him hugging you on the internet. And she texted me back and said, your president, talking about President Trump, likes grabbing women by the you-know-what, and my president likes sniffing hair. We're even. That was her joke. And it was not a joke to me. I've been uncomfortable every sentence.
I don't even know what to say right now. I'm just...
Yeah. I had no idea you were involved in Sniffgate. We laugh, but it's serious. It's serious. He's been doing this for years, and he goes up to people, and for whatever reason, he wants to take a sniff. And it's hearing it from you. I mean, I don't want to belittle what happened to you. I didn't know that you were part of that you were involved in that. It's so strange that the natural reaction to a mass sniffing is to chuckle, but I mean it really is crazy. So you're saying that sniff is what kind of sealed the deal? No way, Jose, you're not voting for him.
Yeah, but like I told a lot of other people, though, when they asked me a question of if the fraud happened in reverse and Donald Trump was cheating, would I tell? Yes, I would.
Yes, you
I
would.
mean, I would be afraid. I would be uncomfortable with him being the president, but it is what it is. If Donald Trump cheat, then he has to be told on. And that's what happened in this case. Joe Biden cheated. He knew nobody wanted him sniffing in their kids' hair, touching on their kids. And I have 2 daughters that I drag out to all of these rallies. And there's no way in the world I would have dragged her to a Biden rally, which we can say they were never filled. They were never, I couldn't even say it was 100 people at his rallies. But Donald Trump's rallies were tens of thousands. He had Michigan on lock. That's for sure.
Yeah. And we've said from the start that no one is more upset about the mask mandate than Joe Biden, because he can no longer get away with the sniffs, with the social distancing, with the masks. He can't hide it anymore. He must be beside himself.
Lets me know that he's making big deals with China, because every time I go get my nails done and for years, they always covered their face. So it just lets me know it's either he's hooking up with them or he's making our country under Sharia law, and I'm against both.
So let me ask you about this, because you mentioned in the hearing, C.A. Johnson. She kept going on and asking, "Where's my Detroit people at? Where's my Detroit people at?" And before that, I'm sure you watched it. The Wayne County Canvassing Board, when they were basically suggesting that they weren't going to certify the Wayne County Detroit results, they were accused of being racist, and that they were trying to disenfranchise black voices, black votes. So then at this hearing, when African-American women, strong, passionate African-American women come forward, you don't hear them saying the same lines where it's just about disenfranchising African-Americans. All of a sudden, they're going after where you actually live, whether or not you're in Detroit proper or not. I mean, it just seems very obvious to me. But did you feel that as you were getting up to testify that they weren't able to make the same accusations? Because we've been hearing this from them for weeks, that anyone who suggests that there was fraud is trying to disenfranchise black votes. It was just, I love that you were able to get up and mention, and also not only you, but also Dr. Tarver getting up and calling out the fraud for what it is. Did you get any impression that they were uncomfortable, that they weren't able to use the same talking points?
They couldn't. And let me tell you another thing. The Senator Santana, they purposely put me at the bottom of the cards because I should have been the 4th speaker. I came in with the AFN of Chris Shornick. I rode in to Lansing with him. So my card was right under his. But they saw me out in the audience. They saw me with 2 kids, 6 and 12-year-old. They wanted us to get tired out. She kept at me. She saw my Donald Trump hat. And once I saw her turn her nose up, I made sure that she can see it some more. I put it on even tighter, and I looked dead in her direction. And I sat that whole 6 to 7 hours out waiting to get called because I knew that they needed my black voice to be heard because they're trying to call everybody else racist. Well, what do you call me if I go up? I'm black. I'm from the city of Detroit, born and raised in the city of Detroit. I know all of you, and I know all of you are part of it. You want to be heard on the cameras telling people off about Black Lives Matter so that you can keep your seat under this fraud for the rest of our entire lives. Well, guess what? It's not happening. I saw it. And I'm going to be a champion. I will go all the way to the Supreme Court with it. Donald Trump should never concede. I don't care if Jesus Christ himself came down and said,
well, if Jesus Christ came down, we'd have to, come on, girl, we'd have to, yeah. You got to be at the wheel. We know he wouldn't do that, but if he did do that, I'd have to follow Jesus at that point.
I would follow Jesus.
That's
but
right.
I would just say, is this Jesus? Like, is this really Jesus? Is this a fraud coming down?
Yeah.
Because there's no way he should concede. That's my point. There's
he should not.
way he should concede. Joe Biden is, to me right now, he's showing all of the fraud. He slipped up and told how they built the fraud. I feel it in my spirit how the fraud came, and I don't just put it on him. I have a vision in my mind that Barack Obama is involved as well. And I can speak on the oppressed because I've been, so I wish they would try to shut me up. Even Cynthia Johnson or Santana, they both can have it. I'll go back in and speak right in front of them. I'd like to see what they're going to say when this black boy step up on the scene.
What? I don't even know what to say. I want to like jump up and down.
Yeah.
Say
Get
amen.
on jumping then.
Amen. Amen.
Everything I'm telling you guys, like I said on the TV, it's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. So it's time out. Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Dana Nessel, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. Y'all are not the winners. Quit trying to build your cabinet up. Your cabinet is about to be moved out from Home Depot, and Trump's cabinets are staying.
I can't believe we lost her. Come on, no, come back.
Come back on.
Oh, there she is. All right.
You cut out right at the Home Depot.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I wanted to let Joe Biden know to stop building his cabinet because they're coming out. They're coming down. Home Depot is going to take those cabinets right on out of there, and Trump's cabinets will remain with a new paint job.
Hey, so I want to say this, Artesia. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area. My dad's black, my mom's white. My whole family's interracial. So people have a hard time taking shots at me. I also, just so you know, 3 years ago, my brother was murdered by a police officer, right? And
okay.
So
sad. I'm sorry to hear that.
But I back the blue, but I think it's personal accountability. I back accountability. So I think what's happened is so sad because we've created this divide in our society that, frankly, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, they're the ones that are actually creating the divide. They're the ones that are creating distrust, right? We're going through an immense amount of fraud. And then on top of that, we literally get separated. Like, nobody knows my story. Nobody knows your story. Running for Congress, right? So they just sit there and they blanket all of these things out there and create all this rhetoric and indoctrination for us in our communities. And if you just slow down just enough to figure out who actually wins, we don't win. Like, this fraud is basically just squishing the voice of the American people. This has nothing to do with, oh, you're a racist. And that's what they do. Whenever they're wrong, you're racist, you're a fascist, you're this, you're that, right? You're a homophobe. And I look at it and I go, no, I'm an American. You're an American. Right? And you're standing up because you have courage, right? Courage. I could see you running across that beach in Normandy, right? While they're shooting at you, just saying, hey, listen, if I got to give up my life,
the Germans would be terrified. The Germans would be terrified.
I'd be terrified. Come running at me. And your cowboy
I want to
hat.
say something else, too. I want to mention back to Barack Obama. When President Trump won, I was at the inauguration in Washington. I have video footage. I'm going to be happy to send to you guys. I was there, and so I feel that when he saw the world coming down on Donald Trump, this man, our president has not had a fair deal for the last 4 years while he's still building the economy, while he's still giving us the best medical, while he's still doing everything. The reason why this fraud came because Obama did not want his Obama fake care to go away. He wanted to build a legacy on that, but we had to file taxes, and when we filed taxes, this health care all of a sudden came up out of our lives. We've never had to file a paper for a health insurance on our taxes that we get at the end of the year. You guys notice that? Yeah.
It's you have to prove that you had it. It's really terrible. Before we let you go, Joe, do you have any last questions?
Number one, I'm going to ask you this: Are you going to run for Congress again?
I am. I'm going to run for Congress because Rashida Tlaib must go. She has to go. There's no way in the world that we could keep her in. She's evil. She's disrespectful to the president. And to calm all of this rhetoric down from the beginning, in my Obama voice, he should have simply got on there and made a state of address, and it should have went like this. Hello, fellow Americans. I know you guys are not too pleased with Donald Trump, but he's your head of state right now, and if you have respect for me, then I would like to ask you all to just accept that he's the president right now, and let's just move forward. But he did not do any of that. Yeah. He let all of the riffraff go. He let all of the madness go on, and he could have stopped it because everybody looked up to him, including me.
Yeah. Well, it's very well said. Where can people follow you? Because I love it. I love what you're all about. I love that you're speaking out.
Not Facebook or Instagram. We will not actually do anything with them.
I love that you were sassy, but you were also respectful, and you're speaking the truth. So where can people go to follow you?
Well, you know what? They keep telling me I need social media, and that makes me so upset because I'm a good old-fashioned girl. I'm the one that goes and knock on those 4,367 doors to get those 4,367 signatures. I'm the one that goes hands-on in the streets and help the homeless. But if you want to see me, I'm on Facebook, but I also have a direct number where I will actually answer my phone. And
we have hundreds of thousands. Artesia, we have hundreds of thousands of people that watch the show. You will get hundreds of thousands of calls. I think you should actually make people. Okay, I'm telling you, your phone won't stop ringing. I'm telling you.
Good. Can I give them my number?
If you want to give them your number, you're welcome to. Oh my gosh, you are amazing! I'm coming to Detroit to see you.
And I'm going to give them also my email address. My email address is Bomber for Congress, and that's BOMER, the number 4, CONGRES @gmail.com. My phone number, drum roll, 313-397-5463. Now I'm waiting for those hundreds of people to start calling.
Though you're going to get them. But hey, listen, guys, I'm going to tell you guys, text her, right? Yeah. Show your support by texting her. Don't pick up the phone and just fill up her voicemail, right? But be respectful, right? So just send a text of encouragement.
Don't worry if they're not respectful. I know how to handle that.
I just want them to be able to respect your time, right? So as someone that literally does not have any time, I want people to respect your time, give you that encouragement, reach out, praise you, pray for you, right? And pray for just the things that you're doing in your state and in your country to bring light to just very evil things, evil deeds. We lost her.
Oh,
is she back?
Did we lose her? Oh,
Artesia,
we might have lost her.
Artesia, hold on. She's coming back.
I'm here. I hear you.
There you go. You're back.
Well, I want to say I didn't want to just cut you off. I want to say thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. Our audience loved you. We played a clip of your testimony on the podcast, and everyone loved what you had to say. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, and we'll stay in touch in case there's anything else going on. Well, there will be more, but we'll keep staying in touch. Joe?
Hey, God bless you, right? Jesus is in your
corner.
I'm
going to need it.
He's at the wheel, right? And just know that
he better be, because I need security now.
If you invite God to the party, right, he'll show up. But you got to invite him to the party. So I think that's where we are right now.
That's right. Amen.
All right. So God bless you. And,
I plead the blood of Jesus.
100%. Amen.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on. Really do appreciate it. That was a great interview.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She threw out the sniffing. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It all comes back to it. All of the roads intersect.
With sniffing?
All of the roads intersect. Yeah.
The sniffologist.
Yeah.
It is a little bit creepy. Actually, it's a lot of bit creepy.
It's a lot of bit creepy. It's a lot of bit creepy, but that caught me off guard. But I'm glad she mentioned it, because she said that she probably would have voted for Biden if it wasn't for the sniff. So she mentioned her email. She mentioned her phone number. You can go ahead and rewind it. I don't want to be the one who says it and causes it to blow up. But if you want to shoot her a text, you can do it. Be respectful.
Be respectful. Be respectful over time, right? Don't call her and just harass her. And I don't mean harass her in that sense, but just send her a text of encouragement. Tell her that you're praying for her, if you are praying for her. I mean, just tell her that you'll support her and that you thank her for her commitment to our country. Those are the things that I think you should do. And I mean, she's a brave soul to put it out there like that. And then, she's running for Congress, so let's support her, right? See, the thing about running for Congress is that you're running for Congress to be of the people, for the people, by the people. And I go to these meetings, these FEC United meetings, and we talk to 300 to 500 people. And I always focus on the same thing, that you guys need to run for office. And the conversation always comes up, Max, that they say, well, I don't have any experience. And I always end it inside of the thing saying, well, neither do they. Like, look at where we are today, and say that they have experience. They don't. They have self-gratification. They're very selfish. They don't look out for the better interests of the people. And so anytime that you have someone that you can rally around that actually has the people's interest at heart, those are the people we need to show love to. Those are the people we need to support. And it's amazing that we got an opportunity to talk to Artesia today, and I assume we'll bring her back here shortly.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
We have a packed schedule of interviews for next week that people that want to come on. So I think there's going to be some pretty good stuff happening next week as well.
So everyone, if you haven't already, hit that share button. A couple days ago, we had tens of thousands of people watch the Facebook stream, and ever since then, we've been down just to the low thousands, right? So Facebook is throttling us. So if you're on Facebook, make sure you hit that share button. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, a like. Make sure you comment. On YouTube, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notification, and then comment as well. So we got to get into the actual topic of the day. We were going to have Artesia on yesterday when we were talking about how disrespectful they were to witnesses. She couldn't make it, so I wanted to make sure we could bring her on for at least a segment today to talk to her about it. But we got to do a deep dive into what's going on in Georgia, because in the last 24 hours, we now have the smoking gun in Georgia proving beyond any doubt that the count was illegal. We'll talk about fraud. Whether or not it was fraud is being disputed, but we can say with certainty that the count in Georgia, specifically in Fulton County, was illegal. So I want to play this clip. This is from yesterday, the Georgia hearing. One of the lawyers getting up and explaining what they found by going through the actual video surveillance evidence from where they were counting the ballots in Fulton County. Let's go ahead and watch cut one.
So according to the witnesses, the Republican observers, there is a lady who has blonde braids who comes out to announce, we're going to stop counting. Everyone go home. And in fact, we see that. What happens is everyone clears out, including the Republican observers and the press, but 4 people stay behind and continue counting and tabulating well into the night from that point, which is going to be about 10:25 when they all clear out, or 10:30. And they will continue counting unobserved, unsupervised, not in public view, as your statute requires, until about 1 in the morning. The reason we know this is because when our Republican observers were forced to leave, they went to the Central Tabulation Center, and they got word from a news crew that in fact counting had continued. They have information that not everybody left according to plan, and some people stayed behind. So this shocked them, so they returned back to State Farm Arena at about 1 o'clock in the morning, where they confirmed that in fact people had just left State Farm Arena in contravention of what they had been told by the supervisors who are running this operation.
So that's something that we reported the day after, because it didn't make sense. And we're going to get into how the fact checkers are trying to already spin this to make it seem like this is a nothing burger. But before we get into that, I want to go ahead and put up image 6. This was a tweet from, I believe, a local reporter, local official, who said 35,000 absentee ballots left to process today, and another 25,000 already scanned, yet to be tabulated, added to the final count in Fulton County. Chairman not happy, workers sent home last night and didn't keep working around the clock. So that's the first one. Let's go ahead and put up image 7. This was from a local news article, and it says they plan to stop scanning absentee ballots at 10:30 p.m. and pick it up back in the morning. No official could explain before press time why Fulton was stopping its count of absentee ballots at that time, only saying that it was the procedure. So we can go ahead and take that off. It's this is well documented that in social media, in official press releases, in legacy media, they, at least the record showed, that they stopped counting at about 10:30, and everyone was freaking out. Why are they stopping counting? Are they trying to figure out how many votes they need to manufacture? What we now know is that was a lie. There was no water main break, as was reported.
No.
It was a leaky toilet that had happened hours earlier, was immediately fixed within 2 hours, and didn't affect counting at all. So they tried to say, oh, we're shutting down the count because of a water main break. They tried to come up with these excuses to explain why they were sending people away at 10:30 at night. And what we absolutely know, is that it was fraudulent. They sent everyone away, and then they kept counting. Right, Joe?
Yeah. And frankly, if you look at the tabulation system of what votes went to who during that time period, that's where you see huge spikes in votes for Biden. I mean, look, the amount of fraud is unbelievable. It's not even something where you could say, "Oh, well, that part's not proof." We need to probably push that under the rug. No, that might be. You're talking about someone literally that brought in suitcases of ballots. Suitcases.
Yeah.
Right?
And just so we're clear, put up image 2. This is when you take the spikes that were reported and you correspond it to the video.
Right.
The spike of Joe Biden getting 225,000
was exactly
votes
when
what was right as they were going home at 1:30. They'd done all that. They raced to scan as many ballots or to do whatever they did with fudging the numbers. He got that spike when there was no one there to observe and they weren't supposed to be counting at all.
Right.
And we see this across the country. We saw this in Philadelphia where they stopped counting. All of a sudden, middle of the night, boom, bunch of Biden votes. We saw it in Wisconsin where they apparently lost the thumb drive for 10, 20 minutes.
Yep.
Outside of the chain of custody, refused to let police call it in. When it got rediscovered, they plugged it in. Boom! Joe Biden has a massive lead in votes. We saw it in Nevada. We saw it in Arizona. Yes,
but they now have access to a computer or a machine down in Georgia. Did you hear about that?
Yes, they apparently Trump campaign has apparently got its hands on Dominion machine. How they did that, I have no clue. Maybe the
Give
county
me 15
just put it
minutes
out
with it.
for the
I'll tell you
trash.
exactly. You can look for rootkits. You can look for breaks in the code. You can look for algorithms that are actually built or math that's actually built into the code.
Well, no, I mean how they got the machine.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah, that maybe the county literally just put it out for the trash. I mean, that's entirely possible. It's entirely possible at this point. So I want to play this part because this was something that Linwood had teased. He filed a subpoena for this because it was actually at a sports arena where this was held. So it wasn't at a government facility. They were counting ballots in the sports arena. So the security camera footage is privately held. It's not held by the government. It's held by whoever owns that arena. Linwood and others subpoenaed it, and this is the fruit of that subpoena. I want to play this next clip because this shows what you're talking about. Everyone had gone, and all of a sudden there's 4 or 5 people left. No observers, no supervisors, not even supposed to be counting. They start pulling out hidden ballots from underneath a table. Yeah. Let's go ahead and play cut 2.
At about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to roll this back and show it to you. There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from under this table. This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning. So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're going to stop counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah, upper right hand, you see the gentleman in the red. So he just pulled one out.
Pretty crazy stuff. We can cut it there. Just wanted to show you because they have the security footage. And as they said, the same woman who sent everyone home was the one who put that table there. And lo and behold, underneath that tablecloth table are 4, some people calling them suitcases. Some people are saying it is the real container that ballots are supposed to be held in. Either way, they're not supposed to be hidden under a table. You're not supposed to hide the ballots under the table. And then once everyone's gone, you start ushering them out to count them in secrecy in the middle of the night. It's it really is incredible. So we have the fact checkers now coming into this. The fact checkers are trying to declare that this has been debunked.
This is nuts. This is crazy. This part is crazy. This part, and it's our friends over at Lead Stories, the bunch of fictitious fact checkers that are out there. It's unbelievable.
But before we get to that, I want to put this up. Let's put up image 3. This is Gabriel. I almost called him Gabriella. Don't want to misgender him. Gabriel Sterling. He is a Georgia election official, and he said the 90-second video of election workers at State Farm Arena purporting to show fraud was watched in its entirety by Georgia Secretary of State investigators, shows normal ballot processing. Here is the fact check on it, and this is from leadstories.com, and they added the graphic called "Not Suspicious." Now, I want to jump to
garbage.
Yeah. let's jump to image 4 because they ultimately changed it from not suspicious to legal counting. So they got called out on the BS because it is very suspicious, and you can't fact check something and say that it's false to say it's suspicious, because that's subjective, right? It's subjective to say, I don't think it's suspicious. So they changed it to legal counting, but it isn't even legal counting because there were no observers there. They had sent observers home. There are sworn affidavits from affiants who were there saying that they were watching. The woman in braids told them to leave. They're done for the night. They left, and she kept counting. So for a fact checker, Alan Duke at Lead Stories, to come in and say it's false, just to categorically say it's false, is completely BS. But I want to get to this part, because let's go ahead and put up image 3 one more time. This is the guy who he's a Georgia election official, and we'll play his deranged rant in a little bit. But Gabriel Sterling, he is the guy who's doing all the press availability in Georgia. He's presenting this Lead Stories as fact. He's an official in the state of Georgia saying everything you're hearing is not true. Look, leadstories.com said it. Here's the problem.
Lead Stories that basically does entertainment.
Yeah.
Here's
the problem. Put up image 5. He is the source.
Yeah.
He's the source in the fact check. Gabriel Sterling, a Republican and Georgia's voting system implementation manager, told Lead Stories during a phone call on December 3rd, 2020, that what can be seen on the video is normal procedure and nothing looks, quote, bizarre or odd.
Yeah.
So he's here, a Georgia official, saying what you're seeing in the media is fake. Here's a fact check proving it's fake. But when you read the fact check quotes him.
Yeah, him.
So they're laundering. This is called like laundering in media. They're laundering the story. He gives them the story. They write the fact check, and he uses that to bolster his own claim. But in reality, the fact check is just his claim.
Right.
They laundered it. Just the same thing they did with the dossier, where you had Christopher Steele give the dossier to the FBI, right? Give it to media outlets. And then the media outlet said, oh, well, this other outlet reported it on it, so that means it's accurate. But they're all talking to the same source. They're laundering the information. It's completely garbage.
Well, I mean, welcome to the world of the. My issue, Max, is that people are stupid enough to actually believe this, and the media and tech companies are actually out there pushing this rhetoric. They're actually interfering with the election, interfering with the ability for the American people to see the truth. They're also interfering with it. They are actually complicit in this behavior. It blows my mind that they're allowed to do this, that they could be so big that they can weaponize themselves against the American people and steal an election, because that's what they're doing.
Yeah, it's it really is remarkable. So we have this claim now where this election official is saying that there was nothing. Let me find the exact wording because it's hilarious. Nothing bizarre or odd. He's saying, oh no, that's what the fact check uses. He's an election official who says, I watched it, nothing bizarre or odd. And the fact check then uses that to fact check everyone. So everyone who shared this video now is being hit with a fact check by Facebook. And if you have enough fact checks on your record, they'll take you down completely.
100%.
So that it's not just him protecting himself. He's trying to take out anyone who's arguing against him. And I can tell you, having read Georgia's statutes, having read the actual statute that requires observers, a bipartisan group of observers and challengers and poll watchers to be present, the fact that they were sent away under BS circumstances and then the count continued. I don't care if he watched a silent video and said nothing looks bizarre or odd. The fact that everyone was sent away and they kept counting in the dead of night, and they only stopped when they realized people were coming back. That's what's bizarre and odd. That's what's suspicious. That's what's illegal. And when you see that they pull the ballots out from underneath a table, hidden under a tablecloth, and just start putting them right into the process. And then you also see, let's put that up again, image 2. You see that again, that the spike in votes for Biden corresponds exactly for when they had shut down the area. They weren't supposed to be counting. Everyone had left. So we're supposed to believe that 4 people counted all those ballots? Are you serious? Come on. No, that was fraud. And as I said, everywhere, all around the country, we see that when they stopped counting,
at the same time,
coordinated effort. They all stopped
coordinated
counting.
effort. Coordinated effort in different states. Coordinated effort where they pushed out Republican challengers. They pushed out people who were poll watchers. Coordinated effort in every single swing state. Every single one. And Virginia and North Carolina. I mean, this is unbelievable, Max. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
And I think if you go back and look at what happened in Iowa in the primary or in their caucus, if you remember, Iowa had a count. Iowa didn't declare their winner. Right? Iowa had no declared winner for a week. It was supposed to be Bernie, then it was going to be Buttigieg, right? They had no actual clear winner. And so when you look at that, in the context, was that their dry run? Was that the fraudsters' dry run to see if, hey, can we steal this? And listen, even Dominion Voting Systems admits that the longer a count goes on, the less the public believes in the outcome.
Right.
So Dominion Systems, one of their core principles is that they make sure that the counts go quickly, because the longer a count goes, the less trust there is in the system as a whole. And then you see Dominion and all these electronic systems taking a ridiculously long amount of time, going against their own guiding principles of having a quick and fair election, doing exactly what they say erodes public trust. It's just the whole thing was a sham. And when you realize it's happening across the country in different states all at the same time, you start realizing that these aren't just individuals. Like there's a video of the blonde braided hair lady palming
Ruby.
What looks to be well, we don't want to dox her because she's not a public official.
Well, wait, hold on, time out. It's already out there. We already have the information on her, but there's a video that I just sent to Josh. Did you get it, Josh? This is a 2.5 minute video. Hold on, this 2.5 minute video
of her palming it.
No. This is her inside of Fulton County, that literally is showing everyone all the absentee ballots that are stacked up everywhere inside Fulton County.
Okay. Does it say her full name? Because even if some people have reported the full name, we cannot report her name. We cannot.
I don't think it does.
According to Facebook's terms of service, we'll get taken down and be completely banned. Because she still has an expectation of privacy according to Facebook.
Well, she works for the county, so she doesn't. She's a public official.
No. So, okay, right. We're not going to have an argument on the air. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just trying to make sure we don't get taken down. So even if you're right, we have to make sure we don't get taken down.
So it does show that her name, and you'd have to show just the video part. You'd have to take the video part out. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to play it. We'll vet it, and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll play it. We can't risk getting shut down over something like that.
We already have one lawsuit against Twitter. We might have another one against Facebook, and let's go there.
But I know. Okay, so the next cut we have is actually from the Georgia hearing, and it details the fraud that they've uncovered so far. Let's play cut 3.
Our election contest petition that we are filing today cites multiple violations of the election code of the state, several of which by themselves would reverse the outcome of this election. The margin of ostensible victory for former Vice President Biden is approximately 12,500 ballots. I say approximately because the margin has changed several times and is likely change again as a result of the current ongoing statutory recount.
So they get into this, and it really is stunning. I want to play this because they actually lay out the numbers of how many fraudulent votes they've already found without a full audit. Let's play cut 4.
What we are presenting to the court and to you today as the Georgia legislature are facts. 2,506 felons voted illegally in Georgia. 66,248 underage and therefore ineligible people to illegally register to vote before their 17th birthday, when the law requires 17 and a half years old. At least 2,423 individuals to vote who were not listed as registered. 1,043 individuals to cast ballots who had illegally registered to vote using a post office box. 4,926 individuals voted in Georgia who had registered to vote after their Georgia voter registration date, thereby canceling their Georgia voter registration. 10,315 or more individuals to vote who are deceased by the time of the election. 395 individuals to vote in Georgia who had cast ballots in another state, which is illegal in both states. 15,700 individuals to vote in Georgia who had filed a national change of address with the United States Postal Service prior to November 3rd, 2020. 40,279 individuals to vote who had moved across county lines at least 30 days prior to Election Day and who had failed to properly re-register to vote in their new county after moving, also in violation of Georgia law.
So right there, that's just without an audit.
Math.
Yeah, it's more than, way more than the margin.
Right.
and these are things that a lot of what he's saying are statutorily illegal.
Right.
A lot of the other things, though, aren't necessarily illegal, but definitely deserve a second look, right? You can change an address, and you can be in a change of address but still be registered. That doesn't necessarily disqualify the vote, but it demands a second look. All of this has been uncovered without a true audit. So when the mainstream media says there's no evidence of fraud or illegal voting, and he's up there saying that we found tens of thousands of illegal votes cast in Georgia, way more than enough. And then you see the video of them sliding the ballots out from under the table and counting them when everyone's sent away, when the supposed main line pipe burst. It's unbelievable. The fraud is unbelievable, but
And
you
it's
won't see this on the
undeniable.
mainstream media.
It's not unbelievable. It's undeniable. These are all facts. Facts. And you know what else? The fact checkers try to find one little thing that they can actually attack. George Flynn. Excuse me. What is wrong with me? Whew.
George Floyd?
No. Michael Flynn.
Michael Flynn.
When he, on his, yeah, don't ask. So it's the cough medicine but he on his interview talked about the server in Frankfurt, right? He just talked about that there was this operation, right, in Frankfurt. So they actually attached a fact checking to it, saying that it was false. It never happened. Yeah. Right. Here's a guy that is a general, right?
Was a general, but yeah,
was a general.
I don't think he's been demoted, but yeah,
he has not been demoted. And matter of fact, through the pardon, once you're a general, you're always a general, right?
That's not necessarily true. After war, a lot of generals do get demoted for payment reasons. They don't want to keep all of them on payroll. But keep going.
So my point is this: they literally find the smallest little bit of information that you can't actually dispute. You can't actually go and call someone because they call someone. They said, "Oh, this person says that this is fake. This is false." So now we get to actually fact check the entire thing. There's no facts attached to the fact checkers. There's no facts. They didn't come out and say that, hey, we know for a fact, but we're talking about facts. We're talking about facts of fraud in Georgia, and yet we're still talking about it. And Governor Kemp has not come out and said it's fraud. That's fraud. That is 100% fraud. Why?
So he did come out last night. He did come out last night and say what he saw in the video is concerning enough for now him to want a signature verification, something Trump's been demanding for over a month.
Right.
But here's the caveat. He doesn't have the power to order a signature verification. That falls with the Secretary of State, who works with that Gabriel Sterling character.
Right.
So I was going to play that, but it's not worth giving Kemp the time.
Yeah, so I do think that we have a separate thing that they were talking about yesterday on the news, and that is that General Flynn actually said that he thinks that President Trump should declare martial law and have everybody revote. I think it's a brilliant strategy, and you can do it. I mean, if you have enough fraud, you can declare martial law. You can have them put up new voting systems. You can go to a printed ballot system, push it till February or March, and have people revote. You can do that.
Yeah, you can. It gets dicey with the Constitution having to be. You can do it, but it leaves the possibility for Nancy Pelosi being the acting president until that happens, which is absolutely terrifying. That might even be more terrifying than a Joe Biden presidency if we're actually looking at just that. I want to play this, though, because when they played that video of them pulling the stuff out from under the table, that was the first time it had ever been aired publicly.
Right.
They had just received it the day before. They hadn't even been able to look through all 14 hours because they hadn't received it more than 14 hours previous. So this was the first time that they'd actually viewed it. And yet, this woman, Elena Parent, who's one of the state senators, decided that she wanted to just say it's already been debunked. Even though it was the first time ever being shared to her or anyone else outside of Trump's legal team or the people at the security at the arena, she's saying it's already been debunked. And she got called out on it, and her stuttering response was glorious. Let's go ahead and play cut 5.
Maybe a question for Senator Parent. I heard you say several times this has been debunked, but I also just heard that this video just appeared last night. So how could it have been debunked?
Well, my response, not being an expert, is that these very allegations came up right away after the election, almost a month ago, and have been repeatedly discussed by the Secretary of State's office, including everything that we're seeing here.
But is this
And
not
there have been explanations for all of it.
Is this not the first time this video has been shown?
I believe that this is the first time this video has been seen.
And
It is.
And the news media hasn't seen this video or have not?
They have
put it
not.
out? They have not.
Because
put
I've
it out.
been in contact with counsel for the State Farm Arena, and
Will be today.
Okay, Senator Anderson.
How can it be debunked if no one's ever seen this thing before? and we do have, I want to play this. This is what it would look like if this was in a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. Let's go ahead and play play cut 6. That's what it actually looks like when you put on the glasses. No, not that one, Mr. Producer. Cut 6.
Maybe a question for Senator Parent. I heard you say several times this has been debunked, but I also just heard that this video just appeared last night. So how could it have been debunked?
Well, my response, not being an expert, is that these very allegations came up right away after the election, almost a month ago.
Joe, you don't watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No.
So at the end of the episode, there's like always something really awkward. They get caught in a lie. They get caught in a stuttering moment where they have no idea, and it always ends with that music. And that's just how the episodes end. Found that it made me laugh, so I wanted to go ahead and play it. What do you think of that, Joe? Trying to debunk something before it's even been shared publicly.
Well, I think the American people are not that stupid. At least 74 million people are not that stupid. Probably more, because they took a bunch of those and gave them over there to Biden. But I think we're facing just a societal dilemma. I mean, we're in the middle of a dilemma. Like, what do we do? And I want to tell everyone that we're going to go to the streets. So we're working on something for early next week. I think we have to go to the streets. I think we have to literally get 74 million people to show up on the street. Who's with me? Who's with me? Come on, let me see some comments of people that are with me. Who's willing to get out on the streets with us and actually show up 2 million, 3 million per state strong, right? And let them know that you're not stealing our election. You're not going to suppress the voice of the American people. Can we get everyone together and lay all of our political stuffs aside, and I'm more conservative than you and I'm less conservative, or I believe in this, or elephant, whatever, right? Can we actually set all of those things aside and in one day show them the power of the resolve of the American people? Can we get that done? Can we get it done? And I think that, I'm in. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm in. Let's do it.
It's definitely doable. I mean, we saw that with the Million MAGA March, where
this isn't a million. This is 74 million.
Okay.
This is
we
people
saw
coming
that even
from.
with that, they had between 500,000 and 1 million people in D.C.
Yeah.
So it definitely is possible. It's got to get out there. It's got to get organized because we are really running out of time. We are now 10 days away from the Electoral College casting their ballot. the safe harbor deadline, which is the last date at which a state can certify results and guarantee that it'll reach Congress in time. Meaning, if any state certifies after that deadline, Congress can just say it's too late or it cannot get there. The safe harbor deadline is the 8th, so that's 4 days away from now. So we really are coming up against a hard deadline. So it's good to see these cases in Nevada, for example, moving forward. In Wisconsin and Arizona, where they identified 3% vote changing in duplicate ballots. It's very, very helpful. But one of the problems is we're seeing that when appeals courts are taking it up, they're setting deadlines after the safe harbor date. They're setting deadlines just a couple of days before.
That's when President Trump has to step in, and that's when he has to either enact martial law or push it up to the Supreme Court. I mean, look, I don't see a way out of. I think the Democrats are playing chicken, and frankly, they're playing chicken with 80 million Americans, probably more, that are willing to take to the streets every single day. I have a guy in Michigan who listens to our podcast, and I think it's Michigan. He's an ex-Special Forces guy, a Ranger, excuse me, which Special Forces, who said, look, I got a couple thousand people. You just tell me when. Right. And I'm like, all right, stand ready. We're going to get something together for Monday. We're going to do it very quickly. We're going to tell people that, hey, listen, on Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, just put it on your calendar now. We're going to tell people on Tuesday or Wednesday next week that everyone's going to flood one location. We're going to build 50 locations across the country, right, where we're going to go. And we're going to go there. Millions of people are going to show up there and say, you're not stealing our election. Now, are you willing to go talk to 100, 200, 500 people? Are the people watching this and the people that watch us regularly, are you willing to actually stand up and go find another 500 to 1,000 like that gentleman who was a Ranger said he would do, right, or did? Are you willing to do it? And can you get them to say they need another couple thousand? That we have to have a show of force. We have to show up with millions in every state. Imagine what would happen if we showed up to push the building over. And I don't mean literally push the building over. I mean have a voice so strong that we can say, listen, you're trying to steal our country. You're trying to make us communist. So Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, I think, is when we're going to do it. We're just trying to get the where, right? So where can we get in Washington, D.C.? Can we get 5 million people to show up in Washington, D.C.? I think we can. Can we get 5 million people to show up in New York? I think we can. Can we get a couple million in Colorado? I think we can. I think that there are states that they're going to see the power of not paying attention to our fraud, and then we'll just watch as the mainstream media does nothing. But how this is actually going to work is that we're going to have to continue to talk about it. We're going to have to become the Americans that are the Paul Reveres, that are basically getting on that horse and taking off to make sure that they tell everyone that we need to rally around this event. So it's pretty crazy stuff. But I think that if we do this, man, it's just that'll be the voice. That'll be the thing that tells us. And then the second thing after that is, what do we do after that? We look for accountability, and if we don't get accountability, then we tear it down. I'm just going to say, I mean, you have to start over. You have to tear it down. Yeah, you can't. You can't walk away from it.
If you can get Artesia Balmer to head up that march, I will follow her anywhere. Yep. So if you can get her to be the master of ceremonies,
well, she'll be the master of ceremonies there. And Zach just said that Antifa will show up. We'll try to scare the civilians not to organize. No. See, let me tell you something. People will actually organize through Antifa, and if Antifa shows up, there is so much anger right now at the fact that they're trying to steal our country. If I were Antifa, I wouldn't come within 500,000 yards of anyone that's going to show up for this event, because you're liable to, something bad might happen to you, right? So Antifa, I just don't think so. I don't think so. I think they'll threaten, and I think that could turn people away.
No,
it's not going to turn people away. This is the last stand. People aren't, guys, listen, either have courage or you don't have courage. It's pretty simple. Don't sit here on your couch and bitch about things if you don't.
59th minute.
That's fine.
We almost
he
made
can
it.
actually cut it out. He put a little bleep on it. It's good. We're okay.
We almost made it.
Yeah. Look. There's a lot of pissed off people. You know how many people that are in the military that actually send me messages? And by the way, I read every message on Parler at Joe Oltmann. I get away So right now I have about 9,000 friend requests on Facebook, and I just want you guys to know you can only have 5,000. And I'm not going to just, I'm trying to get off Facebook. But if you move over to Parler, I'm likely to, have a conversation with you.
And there's a serious risk of taking that many people in because there's probably someone trying to infiltrate your Facebook page too.
Well, I don't say anything bad. I know.
Other
than the fact that when it clacks off, I'll be right there.
I'm just saying that there are probably people in there who are doing it just to try and find pictures of you and your family, right? Things to do to try and hurt you, to try and go after you.
Yeah.
So there's a risk of trying to do that too.
So the problem that I have is, and Terry just put up something for this Freedom Gathering, is that there's also people that get out there that say that they want to be a patriot, they want to help people, and then they try to build email lists, and then they sell those email lists, which pisses me off, right? This is a critical time. Like, we're in a critical time right now where people need to come together. And I'm not saying that's what it is, Terry. What I'm saying is that we have to come together, and all these organizations have to lay aside their personal interests, right, and the selfishness that seems to just permeate our society in ways of just trying to become relevant. Like, I wish I didn't know anything about Eric Coomer. I mean, I'm glad I do now because at least I have the courage to stand up. But I mean, it's not a path that I chose. It's not a path that I would choose for anyone, right? But I want to make sure that you understand that all the organizations that we're reaching out to, and we're going to ask you to reach out to, and we're going to ask you to talk to people about, and we'll put something up Monday, but just get ready for it, Tuesday or Wednesday, and is to get everybody in the same time to go in the same direction. And we have to fight through social media that basically is trying to suppress everything that we're doing, right? Fight through it so we can show up in one place and it not be about any one person. It's about the American dream. Like, what do we represent as a country from this point going forward? We want accountability. So,
yeah. So stay tuned, everyone. Joe will keep everyone posted on what that's going to look like next week. People saying that I'm fear-mongering, I'm naysaying. No, I'm just saying that Antifa, whether they show up or not, the threat of Antifa showing up are going to try and turn people away. So you just have to be cognizant of that and know that the average person who isn't necessarily politically minded, isn't necessarily keeping up with all this, the average person, if they receive news reports, which usually comes out that Antifa, the thugs are planning a counter rally, that's done to try and turn them off. I'm not trying to fearmonger or scaremonger or psych them out of it. Just letting everyone know the Antifa doesn't even need to show up to scare people away. And you need to take account of that and make sure that we get the people there anyway. Well, that's going to be it for this edition of the podcast. If you like the podcast, please do make sure that you download and subscribe to our audio podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. If you have an iPhone, a MacBook, or an iPad, it only takes 5 seconds to leave us a good review, help us rise up in the rankings. But we're also on Google Play Store, on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or Podbean. We go live Monday through Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern on Facebook and YouTube. Links in the description. Make sure that you like and follow our Facebook page, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications on YouTube. Tomorrow, I'll be doing the History Hour. Tomorrow's podcast will be about history, and we're going to be covering specifically Alexis de Tocqueville's book, Democracy in America, what makes America different than other countries that have tried representative rule. And no surprise, he finds out that it isn't actually a democracy. That's what does it. So that's going to be tomorrow. Make sure you tune in for that. We also have a shirt to help support the channel. Mr. Producer, go ahead and put it up. This is our Come and Take It Christmas shirt. We have it in white. We have it in different colors. Pick it up. You can still get it in time for Christmas. So make sure you check out that link in the description and make sure everyone knows that you're not going to support Anthony Fauci or the leftists trying to cancel Christmas. If you want to receive text alerts when we go live, text FREEDOM to 89517. There's also a link to join our email newsletter. Both really good ways to stay connected with us. Again, also we're on Parler at Conservative Daily. I'm at Max McGuire. He's at Joe Oltman. Go ahead and follow us there. And yeah, I think that's it. So like I said, my name is Max McGuire.
This is Joe Oltman.
And remember that the fight to take back our country clearly isn't over, but the only way we win is if we all stand up and fight together.